This is KGW News at noon.
Good afternoon. I'm Christine Padawanich. Thank you for joining us. We want to get straight to some information from Portland Police. Investigators are asking for your help in solving a suspicious death. Police say they found a dead person on Northeast Marine Drive last night around 6:30. They say it was near the 100 block, which is there on your screen in that map. Now, we don't have a whole lot of information at this point, but police think that someone out there knows something, and they're asking anyone with information to reach out. You can call one of the Portland Police Bureau detectives, whose numbers is right there on your screen. And be sure to reference the case number. That is case number 22271682. We'll be sure to have a write-up online with this information as well. And still more fallout from an investigation into the National Women's Soccer League. This is another story topping headlines today. The report found systemic emotional abuse and sexual misconduct. And because of that report, Alaska Airlines, a major sponsor of both the Timbers and Thorns, has pulled some funding for both teams. Now, this isn't the first sponsor to do something like this. We know of at least two others that are taking a second look at their support of the teams. As far as Alaska Airlines goes, though, on Sunday, the company said in a statement that they were concerned about the report's findings. In a statement, they said, "Our foremost priority is to support players through actions that push for a safe, respectful, and transparent culture at the Portland Timbers and Thorns FCs. Alaska Airlines says for the rest of this financial quarter, the company's money will instead go to the National Women's Soccer League Players Association, as well as to youth sports in the Portland area. The report released last Monday concluded the Portland Thorns interfered with an investigation regarding allegations of sexual harassment and misconduct. Owner Merritt Paulson said he would be stepping back. Then on Wednesday, the team announced both Timbers GM Gavin Wilkinson and President of Business Operations Mike Golub had been fired. Now to Northeast Portland, where vandals recently spray painted a swastika on the front door of a Jewish-owned deli. KGW's Christelle Kumwe spoke with the owner, who says this isn't the first time he's had to deal with hatred targeted at his business.
Ben and Esther's Vegan Jewish Deli has two locations in Portland, one on Northeast Sandy Boulevard and another here on Northeast Alberta. Saturday morning, employees found a hate symbol painted on the door of the shop.
Just one of my employees came in the morning and noticed that there was a swastika either spray painted or drawn with a paint marker on our front door logo.
Store owner Justin King says the swastika was spray painted on the picture of his grandparents.
It's more than just a corporate logo. For me, that picture of my grandparents represents, the millions of Jews who either died in or fled the Holocaust.
King says this is just the latest in a string of incidents.
Just a week ago or two had the door locks super glued. So we had to spend quite a bit replacing all the locks.
He says his Sandy Boulevard location was also targeted a few months ago.
Someone called up and asked if we were Jewish or if owned by a Jew and that they were going to come and, do some violence.
That shop closed for the day after that call, and a couple of weeks later had its windows smashed in.
I'm not like scared or, feel threatened in any way like that. This just makes me want to show up more.
King says the community has shown up to support him, his employees, and the business, and also to lend their voices.
Spoken out against it. I think that's the only way that we can combat any kind of hate speech or any kind of, anti-Semitism or racism or sexism or anything is by all of us, joining together and speaking out.
King says he filed a police report for all the incidents except the threatening phone call. There have been no leads. We also checked with Portland's Anti-Defamation League after hearing about this story. They tracked a 34% increase in incidents like these from 2020 to 2021. I'm Christelle Kumwe for KGW News.
This weekend, people gathered in downtown Portland to protest the Iranian government. Scenes like this played out all around the world after Iran's morality police reportedly killed a young woman for violating the country's religious dress codes. Since the start of protests last month, Iranian women everywhere are sharing their personal stories. We heard from a local woman who grew up in Iran and dealt with the violence firsthand. She says she was beaten and almost killed for just going to school.
They came with bats, with knives, with guns, and they attacked us.
And although she was able to escape, she says this type of violence is only escalating. Last month, 2 young women died in Iranian police custody for allegedly violating religious dress codes by showing too much hair. Since September, 11 people have been killed in Iran for protesting these rules. That is according to the most recent count by the Associated Press. And here are some more of your local headlines this noon. President Joe Biden will be in Oregon later this week. He's been traveling the country, drumming up support for fellow Democrats ahead of the midterms. The White House says he'll be here Friday and Saturday. No word yet, though, on his exact itinerary. This is video from the president's most recent stop in the state. He traveled to Portland back in April to talk about investments in infrastructure. And a new wildfire started over the weekend in Clark County. It's being called the Nakia Creek Fire, and it's burned about 70 acres. The fire is located on the southwest side of Larch Mountain, north of Washougal. So far, no evacuations. The Washington Department of Natural Resources said air resources would be used to fight the fire starting this morning. Also, a follow-up to a deadly fire at a senior living center in St. Helens last week that killed 1 person. Officials say the cause was both human error and accidental. Columbia River Fire says oxygen tanks stored in the apartment caused the explosions that started the fire. You just saw a video of police officers rushing in to save people inside the Columbia Hills Retirement Center. That was last Wednesday. And those are some of your local headlines. Okay, now to Rod. Rod, a lot of stuff to talk about weather-wise because we've been breaking records.
Yeah, it was 87 Saturday, 85 yesterday. It's crazy to be in the 80s to begin with this time of the year, right? We are seeing a bit of a change, or we will be seeing a bit of a change later this afternoon. You see the clouds marching down. There's actually a weak cool front that's going to be pushing in a little bit later this afternoon going into the evening hours. Here's the visible satellite picture. A lot of clouds and still a fog advisory in spots along the coast. Cloudy right now, starting to move toward Longview, Kelso area, but still pretty much just hazy sunshine here in Portland. I do expect increasing clouds as we get rolling through the afternoon. Here's the Lincoln City camera. It actually shows some sunshine with the fog being pushed out to sea from the Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. 61 in Lincoln City right now, and still getting partly cloudy skies up north in Cowlitz County. But you folks will be clouding over, or at least seeing increasing clouds in the next couple of hours. That's Three Rivers Golf Course. Looks like a lot of people out having a good time. And one sailboat on the flat Willamette River in downtown Portland. We are at 69 degrees. Which is already warmer than we would typically be this time of the year. I have us going up to 75, increasing clouds. Maybe there's a trace of rain this evening or overnight tonight. The 7-day does have, it's hard to believe, but more 80s on it. That's coming up.
More 80s. Wow. Okay, thanks, Rod.